You're sitting in the dark right now, aren't you? You feel it, that weight, that burden you can't shake, no matter how hard you try. The quiet of the night seems to make it worse. It's in the silence that the doubts come alive, echoing louder than anything else. The world has told you that you're not enough, that your struggles will break you. But look at you. You're still here. You haven't fallen, not yet. There are days when it feels like you're walking down a road of broken glass, each step tearing you up inside. The storm clouds gather above you, heavy with regret, failure, and fear. Everyone around you tells you to keep going, but they don't see the scars, the bruises, the moments when you've wanted to give up. You look at the world through the shadows of your own pain, and it's hard to see anything else. It feels like everything is crumbling. Your hopes, your dreams, your sense of who you are. But they don't understand you. They never did. They thought your struggles would break you, like the winds that tear through a fragile tree, like the flames that turn everything to ash. They thought you'd crumble under the weight of their expectation, that the failures you faced would define you. They thought they knew your story, that they could predict the end of this battle you're fighting. But here you are, still standing, still breathing. It's easy to forget in the middle of the storm that you are the storm, that you have a power inside you that even the darkest clouds can't erase. But the world has been watching, waiting for you to fail. Every time you've stumbled, they were ready to say, "I told you so." Every time you hesitated, they smile, thinking you'd finally give in. But you didn't, and you're not going to. I know it feels impossible right now, like you're at the end of a road that never leads to anything but more pain. But if you listen closely, you can hear it. The call to rise. You haven't fallen yet. You're still here, still breathing, still fighting. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. You're not alone in this fight. You may feel alone in the darkness, but that's when your strength begins to grow. They thought you'd fall. They thought your heart would break. But here's the truth. Your heart, it's been forged in this struggle. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, it's all been shaping you into something stronger than they ever expected. And when the world sees you rise from this, they will know that you are not their prediction. They will know that you are more than they ever imagined. They will see you standing at the end of this storm, stronger, more powerful than you ever believed possible. They thought you'd fall. They were wrong. You haven't fallen yet, and you never will. Do you feel it? The whispers in your ears, the soft, suffocating voices that told you to give up before you even tried. You know the ones I'm talking about? The ones that echo in your mind like ghosts, reminding you that you're not enough. These are the whispers of doubt, of fear, of betrayal. They are the true enemies you've been fighting all along, hidden in plain sight, lurking in the corners of your thoughts. They creep in during your weakest moments, feeding on your insecurities, on every failure, every moment you've ever stumbled. These villains, they have names: self-doubt, fear, criticism, betrayal. They've all played their part in trying to tear you apart. Self-doubt has been your constant companion, the voice in your head that tells you you're not worthy. It's there, lurking behind every decision, every action. Every time you've wanted to reach for something greater, that voice has been there, pulling you back, making you second-guess every move. It makes you wonder if you're even capable of succeeding. It asks, who do you think you are? What makes you think you deserve to stand tall? This enemy doesn't have a face. It hides in your own reflection, feeding off your insecurities, whispering that you'll never make it. You've heard it before. You've heard it when you stared at the mirror, wondering if you were fooling yourself. You've heard it in the dead of night when your mind is still and the world is silent. And yet, you're still here. You're still pushing forward, even when that voice tells you to stop. Then there's fear. Fear is a monster that lives in the dark, always just beyond your reach, always just out of sight. Fear paralyzes you, holds you hostage, keeps you from stepping into the unknown. It's the feeling that clutches at your heart every time you face something new, something bigger than what you've faced before. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of not living up to expectations, yours or anyone else's. Fear lies to you, tells you that staying small, staying quiet, staying hidden is the safest path. It tells you that it's better to keep your head down and avoid the storm. But you know what? Fear only wins if you let it, and you're done letting it control you. Let's not forget the critics, the ones who stand on the sidelines, watching you struggle, waiting for you to fail. These are the ones who speak without knowing, who judge without understanding. They're the ones who shake their heads when you step up, whispering that you're not cut out for this. They throw their stones from behind their wall, trying to bring you down, trying to make you feel small, insignificant. They don't know you. They don't know your story, but their voices have been loud, haven't they? They've told you that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, that your dreams are too big. But here's the truth. Those critics, they don't matter. They never did. They are nothing but empty words, shallow opinions that hold no power over you. They are people who have never dared to walk the road you're on. They've never fought the battles you've fought. So why should you listen to them? Why should you let their judgment define you? And then there are the ones who have betrayed you, the ones who once called themselves your friends, your allies. These are the people who promised to stand by you, only to turn their backs when you needed them most. They are the ones who stabbed you in the back, who whispered lies behind your back, who abandoned you when you were at your lowest. They were supposed to be your support, your strength. Instead, they became the very force that sought to break you. And it hurt, didn't it? The betrayal stung like 1,000 needles, and for a moment, you felt like giving up, like you were alone in this fight. But you weren't. You're not. You see, all these villains, self-doubt, fear, criticism, betrayal, they thought they could break you. They thought they could silence you. They thought you were weak enough to stay down, to crawl back into the shadow, to never rise again. They thought your spirit could be crushed, but they didn't know what's inside you. They didn't know the fire that burns deep within, the resilience that refuses to go out, no matter how much they try to snuff it out. So let them doubt, let them criticize, let them betray you, because every time they do, they're only making you stronger. They're only fueling your hunger for victory. You've faced them all, and you're still standing. You've been tested by fire, and you've emerged stronger, sharper, and more determined than ever. They thought you'd never make it. They thought you'd break under the weight of their lies, their judgment, their betrayal. But look at you now, still standing, still fighting, still pushing forward. You are not what they said you would be. You are not what they tried to make you believe you were. You are more than their doubts. You are more than their betrayal. You are the force that can never be stopped. So let them keep whispering. Let them keep doubting. Because in the end, they will be the ones watching as you rise. They will be the ones who have to look up to you, who will have to acknowledge your strength. They will see what you were always capable of, and they will never be able to take that away from you. You've been through the fire, haven't you? You've felt it. Every wound, every tear, every moment that threatened to swallow you whole. You've bled, you've cried, you've wanted to give up, to walk away, and never look back. You've been pushed to the brink, dragged down by the weight of your own pain, as if the world itself was trying to break you. You've been caught in the quicksand of doubt, sinking deeper with every step you take. No matter how hard you fight, it feels like you're just getting pulled down further. The weight of your struggles too much to bear. The storm has raged around you for so long, hasn't it? The winds howling, the rain crashing down on your back, the thunder shaking your very core. Every step feels like it could be your last, as if the universe is testing your will to survive. There have been days when you've felt completely powerless, trapped in the storm, unable to find shelter. You've asked yourself, is this it? Is this where I break? Is this where I finally give in? There have been nights when you've stared at the ceiling, fighting back tears, wishing that somehow it would all just end. But every time you've thought about giving up, something inside you has refused to let go. You've wondered if you're strong enough, if you have what it takes to push through. You've questioned your worth, your abilities, your very right to stand tall. There have been times when you've looked in the mirror and all you could see was someone who was too broken, too worn out, too defeated. And the more you've questioned yourself, the more the storm has raged, growing stronger with every doubt that crept in. You felt like you were being torn apart from the inside, the weight of your struggles suffocating you until you could barely breathe. But here's the truth. They didn't tell you this part. The storm doesn't just take, it also gives. It gives you the opportunity to rise from the ashes. It gives you the chance to rebuild from the brokenness, to emerge from the darkness with a strength you never knew you had. The quicksand may have tried to drag you under, but you're still standing, aren't you? The storm may have tried to swallow you whole, but you're still breathing, aren't you? You haven't been defeated. You've been forged. Every scar you carry, every wound, every tear, it's all part of your transformation. You've faced your demons head on. You've fought battles that no one will ever see. You've held on when the world tried to rip you apart. And though you've stumbled, though you've fallen, you've never stayed down. Each time you've gotten back up, you've grown. Each time you've faced the storm and walked through it, you've emerged stronger. You're not the person you were before this journey began. You're someone new, someone who has survived the worst and is still standing, still fighting. The pain you've endured, the suffering you've felt, it's not the end. It's your crucible. This is where true power is born. This is where you discover who you really are, where you tap into the strength that lies buried deep within you. You've faced the worst, and you've made it through. That's not weakness. That's power. That's resilience. That's the kind of strength that only comes from surviving the storm. The storm hasn't swallowed you. You've survived. You've bled. You've cried. But you've never given up. And now you're ready to rise. You've faced the darkness and come out on the other side. Now it's time to turn that pain into fuel, to use the fire that's been burning inside you to propel you forward. The battle is far from over, but you've already won the hardest part. You've survived. And from here, you rise. So stand tall. Take a breath. Feel that fire inside you. The fire that's been ignited by your struggles, by your pain. It's not a weakness. It's your power. The storm is still out there, but you've already proven that you can face it, that you can survive it. Now it's time to turn it into something greater. The mountain is still ahead of you, but you've already climbed higher than you ever thought possible. And with every step, you're closer to the top. There comes a moment in every battle, in every struggle, when something shifts inside of you. It's as if the fog that's been clouding your mind finally begins to clear, and the weight that has been pressing down on your chest starts to lift. In the midst of the pain, the exhaustion, and the overwhelming doubt, you begin to feel something you haven't felt in a long time. A spark, a flicker, a whisper of something more. It starts small. You don't even notice it at first, but suddenly, you realize that you've been carrying something inside you all along, something that was buried beneath the layers of fear, the scars of your past, and the constant barrage of doubt. It's not just a thought or a feeling. It's a force, a power, and in this moment, you feel it rising, awakening within you. You've been through the worst. You've been knocked down, pushed to the edge, made to question your worth, your strength, your ability to survive. But now you stand at a crossroad. You can either keep letting the storm control you, letting it dictate your future, or you can choose to step into your power and rise. The moment has arrived, the turning point you've been waiting for, the moment when you realize that you are more than they ever thought, more than you ever believed. The chains that have been holding you down, the chains of fear, doubt, and limitation begin to break. One by one, they snap. You feel the weight lift off your shoulders, and you take a deep breath, realizing that for the first time in what feels like forever, you're not trapped anymore. You're not a prisoner of your circumstances. You're not bound by the opinions of others, by the betrayals of the past, or by the lies that you've been told. This is the moment where you awaken the warrior within. This is the moment where you realize that the battle you've been fighting was never about what others thought of you. It was never about the struggles or the pain. It was about discovering who you truly are, and you are a force to be reckoned with. Imagine yourself standing in the ashes of everything that tried to break you, watching as the flames that once threatened to consume you begin to settle. The destruction is over, and now, from the remains of the fire, something new emerges. You, stronger, unstoppable, ready to rise and claim your place in the world. You fought too hard, sacrificed too much to let this be the end. This is the beginning of something greater. This is where your transformation takes place. You have the strength to break free from the limitations you've placed on yourself. You have the power to rise above the fears that have held you back. You have the will to conquer the doubts that have followed you for far too long. The moment you've been waiting for is here, and it's time to embrace it. The warrior within you has been sleeping, dormant, waiting for this moment of realization. And now, it stirs, it awakens. You feel it in your bones, in every fiber of your being. The drive to push forward, to fight, to claim your victory. This is not a moment of weakness. This is the moment where you become the strongest version of yourself, where you take control of your destiny and stop letting anything or anyone define you. You are more than the labels others have put on you. You are more than the mistakes you've made. You are more than the failures you've endured. You are a force of nature, a warrior with untapped strength that has been waiting for this very moment to be unleashed. The transformation is happening now. The chains are falling away. The storm is subsiding. And in the midst of it all, you stand tall, unbroken, unshaken, ready to rise. This is not the end. This is the moment where everything changes. This is where you step into your power. This is where you rise. You are no longer the person you were before. You are someone new, someone powerful, someone unstoppable. Now, it's time to face what comes next. And nothing, not a single force in this world, can stand in your way. You have awakened the warrior within, and you will never be the same again. The journey ahead may be difficult, but you've already proven that you are more than capable. You are a force, and now you are ready to dominate. Let the world watch as you rise. Let them see what happens when you awaken the power inside you. You are more than they ever thought, more than you ever believed. This is not the end. This is where you rise. It's time to stop waiting. The moment for permission is over. You don't need anyone's approval anymore. You don't need anyone to tell you it's okay to fight. You have always been the warrior in this battle, but now you're awake. Now you know it. Now you see it. It's time to break free. It's time to stop letting your fears, your doubts, the limitations others have put on you hold you back. It's time to step into your power and claim what's always been yours. For too long, you've been held down by invisible chains of fear, of doubt, of past mistakes. These chains didn't just appear overnight. They were forged slowly, piece by piece, as you allowed the doubts to creep in, as you listened to the voices that told you that you couldn't, that you weren't enough. You've let the world tell you what you can and cannot do. You've allowed the whispers of failure to trap you, to cage you in a prison of your own making. But no more. No more letting the chains hold you. No more sitting in the darkness, waiting for someone else to change your fate. The time has come for you to step out of the shadows, to break through the walls that have confined you. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are not defined by the limits others have imposed on you. You are the one who holds the keys to your future, and the chains that have held you in place for so long. They are ready to shatter. You may not have known it, but you've always been a warrior. You've fought battles before. You've survived things that would have destroyed others. You've been knocked down, and yet here you stand, You felt the weight of the world on your shoulders, and yet you still breathe. Every time you thought you were done, you got back up. Every time the world pushed you down, you fought back. That's the warrior within you. It's always been there. It's been waiting for this moment. It's been waiting for you to realize that you are capable of so much more than you've allowed yourself to believe. Now it's time to unleash that warrior. It's time to stop waiting for permission. The world won't give you permission. They'll keep telling you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that you don't belong. But none of that matters. The only thing that matters is that you know what you're capable of. The only thing that matters is that you take control of your destiny, that you fight back against everything that has ever tried to hold you down. Shatter the chain. Break free from the limitations that have kept you small. Every doubt, every fear, every criticism, it's just a chain. Every time someone told you that you couldn't, every time you listened to your inner voice telling you you weren't good enough, that was just another link in the chain. But today, you break those chains. Today, you stand tall and tell the world that you are done being held back. Step out of the shadows. You've been hiding for too long, hiding from your true power, hiding from the warrior that you are. It's time to step into the light. The light is where your strength is, where your true potential lies. You've been standing in the dark for too long, allowing fear to guide you, allowing self-doubt to keep you hidden. But no more. You were never meant to stay in the shadows. You were meant to shine. You were meant to rise. And now you are ready. The walls that have been built around you, whether they are walls of fear, walls of insecurity, or walls built by the opinions of others, they are nothing but illusions. They are paper-thin barriers that you can break through with just the force of your will. They are nothing compared to the strength that resides within you, the strength that you've been too afraid to embrace. But today, you break through those walls. You step into the life you were meant to live. This is not a fight for survival. This is a fight for control, a fight to take back your power. You are not here to just exist. You are here to dominate. You are here to create. You are here to leave a mark on this world that cannot be ignored. Every chain that has ever held you down, every voice that has ever told you that you aren't good enough, every obstacle that has stood in your way, it all ends now, because you are ready, you are prepared, and you are unstoppable. So stand tall, straighten your back, take a deep breath, and feel the power that is coursing through you. This is your moment. This is your time. It's time to stop asking for permission. It's time to fight for what is yours. It's time to take control of your destiny. You are not a victim. You are a warrior. You've always been one. Now it's time to prove it. The clouds that once seemed so heavy above you, dark and suffocating, have begun to part. For so long you've been trapped in a storm, but now, in this moment of clarity, you can see the first rays of light breaking through. The horizon, once obscured, is becoming clear. The fog that clouded your vision, that made you question your worth, is lifting. What was once a battleground has transformed into a vast landscape, an open field where you stand tall, stronger, more powerful than you've ever known. You've spent so much time fighting in the darkness, questioning whether the storm would ever end, whether the weight would ever lift. But now, as you look around, you realize that the storm was never meant to break you. It was meant to make you. The struggle wasn't your end, it was your rebirth. The fire you've walked through, the pain you've endured, the failures you've faced, they were all part of the process. Each hardship, each wound, each tear, they've shaped you into the person you are today. And that person is unstoppable. You've survived the battle. You've made it through the toughest of times. And now, you see clearly what you couldn't see before. You are not the same person who walked into this struggle. The person who doubted, who feared, who hesitated, that person no longer exists. You've shed that skin, and what remains is someone stronger, more determined, more capable than you could have ever imagined. They thought you'd fall. They thought they could break you. They thought your struggle would be the end of your story. They saw your failures, your pain, your doubts, and they counted you out. They thought you were weak, but they didn't know you. They didn't know the power that was always within you. They didn't see the strength that was quietly building inside you, waiting for the right moment to be unleashed. And now they're watching you rise. They're watching you become everything they never believed you could be. The ones who doubted you, the ones who whispered behind your back, the ones who said you'd never make it. They can't look away now. They're forced to watch as you rise from the ashes, as you turn every failure into fuel, every setback into a stepping stone. They're watching you grow into someone unrecognizable, a force to be reckoned with, unstoppable and fierce. You may have once questioned your own power. You may have once wondered if you were strong enough, if you had what it takes to face the world. But now, in this moment, you see the truth. You've always had the power. It's always been inside you. The struggle wasn't about proving anything to anyone else. It was about proving it to yourself. It was about discovering who you truly are, what you're truly capable of. And now you know. Look at where you are. Look at how far you've come. The person you were before the storm is not the person you are now. You are stronger, you are wiser, you are more resilient, and you are ready for what comes next. The horizon before you is clear. The path may still be long, but now you know that you can walk it with confidence. You've weathered the storm, and you've emerged victorious. And as you look ahead, you see not just the possibilities, you see the certainty. You see the greatness that is waiting for you, the success, the happiness, the life you've been fighting for. It's all within your reach. And now, you're ready to claim it. This is your moment. This is your time to rise. You are no longer the person they thought you would be. You are someone stronger, someone who has been tested, forged in the fires of struggle, and come out the other side with the strength to conquer whatever lies ahead. The storm didn't destroy you. It made you. And now, with the world watching, you stand tall, ready to embrace your power, ready to take on the world. The battle is far from over, but the struggle that once seemed insurmountable has only made you stronger. Now you are ready for greatness. So rise, stand tall. Let them watch as you soar. You've earned this moment. You've earned your victory, and now you are unstoppable. The time for merely surviving is over. The time for simply getting by, for struggling through the motion, is gone. You are no longer just existing. You are thriving. You are no longer just moving forward, inching your way through life, hoping to make it to the other side. No, you are dominating. Every step you take now is a step toward victory. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to prove just how unstoppable you truly are. You are not the person who cowers in the face of adversity. You are the one who rises to meet it, ready to conquer it with confidence and unwavering determination. Imagine yourself standing tall, looking out at the battlefield ahead. The terrain is tough, the obstacles are many, but you know one thing for sure. You are ready. You've been through the storm. You've fought the fight, and now you've become the warrior you were always meant to be. The fear that once held you back, gone. The doubt that once clouded your path, dispelled. Now as you march forward, you do so with a sense of purpose, a sense of power. You know that nothing can stand in your way. Every step you take is an act of defiance. Every move you make is a declaration to the world that you are no longer bound by the chains that once held you down. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable, they are nothing now. You see them for what they truly are. Tests, challenges meant to show you just how far you've come, just how powerful you've become. And with every challenge you face, you conquer it with ease, because you know that you have the strength within you to overcome anything. As you climb the peak, you feel the weight of your past struggles lifting off your shoulders. The climb was hard, no doubt about it. There were times when you thought you couldn't go on. when you thought the summit was too far out of reach. But here you are, standing at the top, looking down at everything you've overcome. The climb was worth it. Every hardship, every setback, every moment of doubt. It has all led you to this point, and now you stand tall, victorious, knowing that the world is yours for the taking. The air is different up here, isn't it? It's clearer, fresher, and you breathe it in deeply, savoring the victory. But you know this is just the beginning. You've reached the top of one mountain, but there are more to climb, more obstacles to face, more fears to conquer, and you're ready. You're more than ready. You've proven to yourself, to the world, that you are capable of achieving greatness. And now, there's nothing you can't do. You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. You've come through the fire, and now you are blazing a trail for others to follow. Your strength, your confidence, your unshakable resolve. It's all on display now. You've taken charge of your life, and the world is taking notice. The battles that once seemed impossible now feel like stepping stones, each one bringing you closer to your ultimate goal. You are unstoppable. You are relentless. You are a force of nature, and the world can't help but watch as you dominate the battlefield. The fear, the doubt, the critics, they are nothing but echoes in the distance, fading away as you continue to move forward. Nothing can stop you now. You've faced the darkness, you fought the battle, and now you stand at the peak, looking out at a world that is yours for the taking. The battlefield is wide open, and you are marching forward with confidence, knowing that there is no challenge you can't overcome. This is your time. This is your moment to rise, to claim what's yours. You are not just surviving. You are thriving. You are dominating, and nothing, no one, can stand in your way. The world is watching, and they are witnessing the power you've always had within you. You are a living, breathing testament to the fact that nothing is impossible for those who refuse to give up. Now is the time to rise and shine. Now is the time to show the world that you are more than capable, more than strong enough, more than ready to claim your greatness, because you are not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. You're dominating, and this is only the beginning. The world is watching now.